worked at McDonald's. I did the French fries and I did the ice cream. I worked at McDonald's. I was a student when I was working at McDonald's. There was not a family relying on me to pay the rent, put food on the table, and keep the bills paid by the end of the month. But the reality of McDonald's is that a majority of the folks who are working there today are relying on that income to sustain a household and a family. And if we want to talk about these golden arches being a symbol of the best of America, well, the arches are falling short.
Ever since Tiananmen Tim got busted for lying about being a head coach, inflating his military service, and telling Kamala he can't handle spice after winning a spicy taco competition, there's been growing doubts about the Harris-Walz campaign. Tonight, one of Kamala's key elements to her biography has come into question, and it's a big one.
I want to ask a question about a topic that really unites America. Fast food. Okay, so here's the deal. I heard a rumor that you worked at McDonald's. Is this true?
I did. Yes, I did.
I didn't know that about you.
I was in school.
Me too. I worked registered, drive-through, and grill. I was known as a triple threat. Okay, just for the record.
I did fries.
Just the fries?
I did fries, and then I did the cashier.
Okay, I'm impressed. Fries are hard.
A producer at Primetime who used to work the kitchen says fries aren't hard. They're the easiest. And Kamala didn't even start talking about cooking fries until she decided to run for president. There was no mention of McDonald's in both of her memoirs, and so far, all reporters looking into it have found no evidence. Andrew Kerr is a reporter at the Washington Free Beacon who's been investigating this story. So what'd you find?
Right. Well, Kamala's story about her job at McDonald's has shifted dramatically over the past couple weeks. At first, her campaign came out and said that this was a job she worked to pay her way through college. But now they say that she worked there for one summer just to earn a little extra spending money. So, yeah, we looked into it. Did she actually work at McDonald's? Well, she didn't mention it throughout the first several decades of her political career, made no mention of it in both of her books, including her 2019 memoir, in which she devoted an entire chapter to the struggles of service industry workers. There's been several biographies published about her in the past couple of years, none of which mention her job at McDonald's. The author of one of those biographies told us that he was not aware of the claim. We obtained a job application that Kamala filled out for a law clerk position in 1987 that instructed her to list every job that she had for the past 10 years. McDonald's is not mentioned in that job application or in her resume at that time. We reached out to McDonald's corporate several times asking, hey, can you confirm her employment? No response. We reached out to McDonald's in the Alameda area. None would say if Kamala worked at their location. We reached out to the Harris campaign asking, hey, can you specify which location in Alameda County that she worked at? And they won't answer. So it's possible that she did work at McDonald's for a few weeks in the summer of 1983. But when you put all this together, it just raises some very serious questions about what has become a foundational narrative that Democrats are relying on to connect Kamala Harris to the working class.
So McDonald's keeps pretty good records of their employees?
Right. They have a full-time archivist on file. We pestered them for weeks.
Can't believe she lied.
Never got a response.
So they know everybody who's ever worked at a McDonald's, and you gave them a month or a couple weeks, and the maybe future president of the United States, something you'd want to brag about if you were McDonald's. They didn't get back to you with anything. That is, and you're right, Andrew, we're not saying she never worked at McDonald's. We're just saying it doesn't smell right and there's no evidence anywhere. Anything else you'd like to add? You do a really good job with this investigative reporting.
Thank you. Yeah, I think a great comparison is the 2008 campaign. It was a big storyline, Obama's first job as an ice cream scooper at Baskin-Robbins. The difference with then and now is that there was no mystery at all surrounding Obama's first job. News outlets published the address of his Baskin-Robbins in Honolulu on their websites. Photographers posted photos of the location. Baskin-Robbins proudly touts on his website that Obama used to scoop ice cream for them. And the manager of that location joked to the LA Times in 2009 that she turned into somewhat of a media professional after dealing with so many reporters during the 2008 campaign. The same just can't be said about Harris. There's nothing but mystery surrounding her claim to work at McDonald's.
Very mysterious. Maybe it was Burger King and she forgot.
She forgot. That's what they want to go with? They want to go with that she forgot? I know many, many people who worked at Burger King. I know many people who worked at McDonald's. I've never seen any people may hide the fact that they worked at McDonald's or Burger King. They don't want people to know that. I've never met anyone who lies and says they were at McDonald's when they weren't. Not that there's anything to be ashamed of. Kids in high school work at McDonald's, they flip burgers, they do all kinds of things to make ends meet. I worked at a store called Caldor in Connecticut. Worked in the garden department and moved fertilizer around when I was 16. Never once thought that was going to be my, lot in life, that I wouldn't go any further. That's where I had to be. It's insane that these people are trying to make it that McDonald's or Burger King is supposed to be someplace where you're supposed to take care of your family. Let me just say this, there's nothing wrong with working at Burger King or McDonald's, but if you want to raise a family and live a life and you're, 19, 20, 21, and the best you can do is Burger King or McDonald's, you might want to assess where you are in life. You may want to take a look at some things. Because I'm not pretty sure you're taking the account of the best opportunities. Well, Miss Kamala Harris, we're going to talk about it later, had her nightmare of an interview, if you can call it an interview, yesterday. But this story that came up about Burger King, or rather McDonald's, was very interesting. When Jesse Waters ran that on his show, I think a night or two ago, it was a rumor. It was just being talked about that perhaps, she may have embellished about working at Burger King. She embellished her resume. Well, this came out. Let me make sure. Boom. Breaking news. McDonald's corporate sources have come forth and said they have no record of Kamala Harris working at any of their locations ever. She was so much of a fraud that McDonald's felt they had to make a statement. They had to come out and say, "No, man, she's never worked here. Nobody named Kamala Harris has ever worked at any McDonald's anywhere in the country." Who lies about working at McDonald's? Kamala Harris, for some reason. And next one was, I'm going to come back to that. Good morning, X. Yesterday was a bad day for Kamala Harris. We found out that she lied about working at McDonald's, and her, quote, interview was so bad that CNN won't release the original transcript. She's not competent, not qualified, and she's not going to win. Yeah, I can agree with that. I can agree with that completely. And then Paul Sperry, who is a very, very credible reporter, says, developing, Kamala campaign has stopped referencing her alleged job at McDonald's and won't respond to media questions seeking the location of the McDonald's store and the dates of her employment at McDonald's, which appears nowhere in her memoirs or early resumes. The story is developing. That was as of 2:17 p.m. today. So now the reporters are digging in, and McDonald's is like, don't call us anymore. He doesn't never work here. So they go back to the campaign and they're like, hey, Kamala, McDonald's says you're persona non grata. You never worked there. What the hell's going on? You lied about working at McDonald's? Let me just put it this way. If somebody that we're looking at basically as a presidential candidate, she's willing to lie about working at McDonald's, something so minuscule. Right now, people are saying, what's a big deal, okay? In and of itself, it's not a big deal. I could care less whether she worked at McDonald's. I'm pretty sure every single one of you could care less whether Kamala Harris worked at McDonald's, if that was it. The problem is her credibility is shot on all levels. Everything that is going on in the Kamala Harris orbit is fraudulent. There is nothing real about anything that she's doing. I got a storm rolling in here, so I hope I don't get blipped off. But it's crazy to think that this woman would embellish about working at McDonald's and is hiding as best as she can behind the curtain so nobody can talk to her. All of this stuff would easily just go away. How? Just come out in front of a camera. Come out in front of a camera doing what I'm doing right now. Have somebody ask you a question. Hey, Kamala, did you really work at McDonald's? No, whatever, say it. But now as the lies compile and keep coming together and more, she's stacking lie upon lie, it's really, really bad. I was for fracking before I was against fracking, but now I'm against fracking, but I still got my same personal values, whatever that means. I was for no tax for tips after I was no tax for tips, but now I'm for tax for tips because Trump said he's no tax for tips. Every single thing is a lie. We're watching a Broadway production. There is no credibility, not just with her. There's no credibility with, horse milkshake Tim. There's no credibility anywhere. None of it makes any sense. She sat down at an interview with Dana Bash, not Dana, Dana Bash. And to me, as I watched her, I thought she had a confidence monitor. What's a confidence monitor? A confidence monitor is I'm looking in the camera right now, but I can also look down and say, how do I look? Oh, I need to fix my collar. I need to do something. There's a monitor in front of me that shows me how I look on that camera. At the same time, a confidence monitor can be answers, can be text. As I read those tweets, I can see different tweets on the screen right here. So if you ask me a question and said, hey, what did Paul Sperry say about Kamala Harris? Well, I could say right to the camera, well, Kamala Harris has, said she worked at McDonald's. However, McDonald's has said that she didn't, and her campaign has stopped referencing any materials or anything to do with that alleged job. I could actually turn my head and read. So when you're watching, or if you did watch her interview last night, and Dana Bash is sitting on this kind of an angle, which was a weird place for them to have it. She's got her chaperone, Tim, sitting over here on the right. Dana Bash is sitting over there, and there's a table right here. And you don't see what's over there. And you don't see what's down. They pulled back once, but that doesn't mean anything. They could have pulled back to a point where you couldn't see the confidence monitor. So Dana Bash says, what color is the sky? Well, the sky, the last time I checked, is red. But it could have been green last week, and it's been blue before as well. That's all it takes, is to look down and check your notes and then look back up. And in a span of about 3 or 4 minutes, she looked down a couple times, lost eye contact, came back up, and kept going. If you know what you're talking about, you should be able to answer a question specifically looking at the person asking you the question. If she was in a court of law and, she supposedly was a prosecutor, she would know that a jury seeing you answer a question and look up and look down means you're lying. You're not being credible. Hey, did you do this or that? No, I didn't do it. Very simple. But she couldn't even say that because Dana Bash was giving her what's called a leading question. She had a multiple question interview. So Kamala, did you do this because A, you wanted to do this, or B, because you wanted to do that, or C, because you wanted to do this? And one of those was the real answer, so it was easy for Kamala to say, well, yeah, you're right, Dana. B is where I was trying to do. She didn't even have to think that much. It was a complete tragedy, a comedy of errors instead of a tragedy. It was insane that someone who thinks they can be president of the United States could not take a question without looking away, looking down, or getting a multiple option, multiple choice question to go with. It makes no sense. I don't understand how she felt that was okay. I'm looking down at the screen here, and they got a speaker coming up. It's not Donald Trump, so I'm going to take a few comments, and we can talk about this. It doesn't make any sense to me. This woman's a fraud. Horse Milkshake Tim is a fraud. The entire Democrat Party at this point is a fraud. And I don't know how people can even continue to think that this is a real candidacy. Not just it's not a real candidacy, it's actually the Democrat Party perpetrating a huge fraud on the American people. They expect you people to drink this, swallow it down like it's a horse milkshake. I know that's disgusting, but some of you probably may not know what I'm talking about. But in any event, I'm not going to go there. I'm appalled that someone would want to run for the highest job in our country, one of the highest jobs in the world, and can't have a conversation. It's absolutely crazy. Where was this? Somebody said, okay, Barry, the Harris campaign, let me just pull this up. The Harris campaign is bombarding the news in Wisconsin with her ads that she worked at McDonald's and put herself through college. Those ads are going to get pulled. Oh, I can't. Whoa, can you imagine? She's got basically 11 days before she's got to stand on the stage with Donald Trump. She's going to have to go toe-to-toe with this guy, and they're going to have to give him a bib at this point because he's got to be salivating. The drool must be accumulating. It's crazy that she thinks she's going to stand across from him. All she's going to have, I'm telling you right now, she's going to have zingers ready. They're going to memorize different things. Well, at least I'm not going to jail. At least I wasn't convicted of 34 felonies. I was a prosecutor. I know how to put felons in jail. Okay, so you know how to put felons in jail. Do you know how to come up with an economic policy? I don't know if it was the first question that she got. But one of the questions she got was, and it's probably the easiest question for a presidential candidate to answer. Obviously, one of the easiest questions that she could probably ever expect, and she had to expect it. What was that question? On your first day in office, Miss Harris, what are you going to do on your first day in office if you get elected president? Very easy question. You should have that in your back pocket. You should know it right off the bat. And what was her answer? World peace. No, she didn't say world peace, but it might as well have been that vague. Her answer was, I'm going to help the middle class. What the hell does that mean? No. They should have came back and said, no, I understand that you want to do something to help the middle class. What exactly are you going to do? I'm going to unburden them from being burdened from what they were burdened with or something. She had no answer for the most obvious question in politics. What are you going to do day one? I don't know. I got to wait until Obama or somebody tells me. What do you think I'm going to do? Because she's going to. So somebody's like, I don't think she's going to show up. She's not going to show up. Yeah, I don't think she's going to show up. She's been in office for 3 years, and Dana Bash after that as well. Dana Bash said, you've been here for 3 years. When you say you're going to fix the economy, how are you going to do it if you haven't done it in the last 3 years? Did you see the answer to that question? Not making this up. She's like, we have worked and we've driven inflation down. No, actually, it's up from when you took office. It's down from before when you were messing it, and down since you've been flubbing the numbers. It's still up. So you took credit for lowering an astronomical inflationary number, but it's still higher than when Trump was in office. Dana Bash didn't push back on that. Just let that come out with no big deal. It was crazy.